Now, if you would please give your opening argument once again, Mr. Payne. Certainly, Your Majesty. The accused is charged of 2 crimes, larceny and murder. Yesterday, the Founder's Orb was stolen from the treasurer's room of Temple. In addition to the theft, 2 other things were discovered in the treasure room. The dead body of Mr. Patrol, Temple security guard, and the empty treasure box that housed the orb which Mr. Roll was in charge of guarding. We believe that Mr. Roll was murdered by the thief who stole the treasure. To kill a guard armed with a gun, what a terrifyingly bold act. I couldn't agree more, Your Majesty. Please allow me to submit as evidence the victim's autopsy report and crime photo. Alright, cool. Autopsy reports are added to the court record. Alright, and the crime photos are added to the court record. Awesome. Getting the trial underway. It's been a long time since we had evidence presented in court as well. It's kind of refreshing, actually. We may rely on the power of the sciences, but our police still carry out investigations. Thus, any proof I provide is indisputable. Oh, really? Well, forgive me if I don't just take your word for it. I can check the evidence myself by searching them in the court record. We'll see just how thorough you and your police were, Mr. Payne. Such a deplorable crime. The audacity of stealing the sacred treasure of her holiness, our founding mother, is a crime that strikes to the very heart of our nation. Exactly, Your Majesty. We mustn't let this culprit get away with his heinous deeds. Indeed, such deeds are best described as treason against the crown. Is this treasure really such a valuable object? How could you even ask such a thing? Of course it is! Why, sealed within this treasure is the very soul, the mitima of the Holy Mother. Her soul is sealed within the treasure? I think I'll take that with a grain of salt. You don't believe it, do you? Of course I believe it. Something tells me I'd better play along. This is kind of irrelevant. It's exactly why I dislike defense attorneys so much. Your Honor, Your Majesty, what is it now? This treasure, I've never seen it, so it's a little hard for me to imagine. Can I see a photo of it or something? Of all the outlandish requests, you defense attorneys are truly beyond the pale. He's been getting awfully angry with me, and those veins popping, are those veins popping off his forehead? It is forbidden for anyone outside of the royal family to view the treasure itself. They say that anyone without the proper spiritual power will be blinded instantly. That is why the average person has never seen the treasure, Mr. Wright. I guess that there are national treasures that are off limits to the public back home, too. For the benefit of the shamelessly uninformed defense, let me share this newspaper article. It includes photos taken about 8 years ago, when the treasure was unearthed. These are the only public photos of the outer box in existence. What's more, the treasure box only leaves the temple's treasure room for but once a year, for a special New Year's rite that takes place at the palace. Therefore, this treasure box has only ever been seen by a handful of people. Alright, so we have some more evidence back in our corner. Here's a string of thefts lately of historical artifacts from the temple. Right, Your Majesty. Inexcusable thievery of precious national treasures for personal gain. And the culprit is the accused. So he used his position as a monk in training to get his hands on the treasure. Is that it? The accused's family is by no means wealthy. To help with the family finances, he works as a tour guide in addition to his ascetic training. Thank you for giving an excellent outline of the case, Mr. Payne. Now then, no more questions from the defense, I presume? What? No, I do have questions! Even more? But you just asked a bunch. Well, make it snappy. My class starts in just a few short minutes. Oh, wow. Okay. What? You still planning on going to that thing? There's still a lot I don't know about the case. I should ask now while I have the chance. Let's see, what else do I need to know more about? The crime scene, the weapon, and the motive. Well, the best thing that we probably need to figure out more is the crime scene. Mr. Payne, where did the crime take place? What? As I already stated, it was in the treasure room of the temple. Oops, that's right. Have you even been paying attention? Kind of not. These lying lawyers, not only do they lack morals, but memory too. He apparently was all brainpower of a barnyard chicken, your majesty. That explains why you're the crest like a rooster. No matter where I go in the world, the insults are always the same. Your majesty, please let me try again. Let's see, what else do I need to know more about? I wasn't asked about all three. We didn't know about the weapon, we didn't know about the motive, we didn't know about the crime scene in the treasure room, the motive, family was poor, so let's go ahead and talk about the weapon. Mr. Payne, what was the murder weapon? The murder weapon was the treasure box itself. The empty treasure box left at the scene had a large blood stain on it. How utterly repulsive! Using the sacred treasure box for murder. The accused came to the treasure room with the express purpose of stealing the treasure. He climbed the altar stairs and snatched the box, ready to abscond the treasure. But he was discovered by Mr. Roll, who had come into the room in the course of his rounds. After walloping Mr. Roll in the head with the treasure box, the accused forced the bloodied housing open and made off with the treasure inside. Alright, treasure box updated in the court record, but he had a big gun. Why didn't he just shoot first and ask questions later if the person wasn't supposed to be in there stealing a national artifact? I think I would have shot first. But the defendant is just a little boy. I hardly think he'd be able to hit the victim, a grown man, on the head. Ah, a very good point, Mr. Wright. But I'm afraid that won't help you. The time of the crime, the accused was on the stairs leading up to the altar. The accused's elevated position was more to make up for the difference in stature. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, but that seems a bit too convenient if you ask me. Mr. Payne, your reasoning is flawless. I wouldn't go that far, honestly. What an elegant argument. Hats off to you, Chief Prosecutor. Your title is obviously well-earned. Well then, the accused is certainly conclusive. Unless there's anything else, I'm ready to announce my verdict. Very well, in that case, I found the accused... Just one moment, Your Majesty. Don't you think you're rushing the verdict just a little bit? I told you, I have plans to attend to, and... Ugh! I'm late! It's already started! How did the time fly by so fast? He's still stuck on that? We haven't even heard of the defendant's side of the story yet. Your Majesty, the defense asserts its right to cross-examine the defendant. Huh? Did I say something funny? Cross-examines, what do you mean by that? What? What do you mean, what do you mean, what do I mean? I seem to have some dim recollection of the process, but I can't quite recall. And little wonder, a so-called defendant hasn't been questioned in over 20 years. Should I even be surprised anymore? Anyway, I demand that we let the defendant, or the accused, tell his side of the story. Is that really necessary? Of course it's necessary, Your Majesty. What harm could it do? I say we allow the boy to speak, Your Majesty. Though I doubt he'll have anything of relevance to say. Oh, how kind of you, Your Royal Payness. Very well, as long as it's okay with you, Mr. Payne. I'm already hopelessly late for my class anyway. In that case, the prosecution calls the accused back to the witness stand. Oh, but before we do, I better call my wife and apologize for missing that class. Any objections? Go for it, Your Majesty. Accused, state your name and occupation again, if you would. Ahlbi Ur'Gaid. I'm in training to be a monk, and I'm a tour guide, too. Why me? Now, where were we? Cross-examining the defendant, Your Majesty. Right. Let's do that, then. At the defense attorney's insistence, I might add... He sounds a little dispirited. His wife must have given him a piece of her mind. Well, the defense had better get to it, and make it quick if you please. I mean, can't we just call for a recess? Continue the trial tomorrow? The defense? Mr. Wright, I didn't know you were a lawyer. Didn't Maya tell you anything? Let's be real here. Most of Maya's best adventures are with lawyers. Well, I am, and I'm here to defend you, Ahlbi. Don't worry. All you have to do is tell the truth, and you'll be all right. You tricked me. What? If I knew you were a lawyer, I wouldn't have given you the tour. Give back that magatama I gave you yesterday. Ahlbi, what's gotten into you? Don't talk to me. You disgust me. Now even Ahlbi's against me? But why? This must be a new experience for you, Mr. Wright, being loathed by a client. No, not really. I think we've had a few that have been like that. Now then, accused. Please, give the court your testimony. The incident occurred around noon, during the break between morning and afternoon dances of devotion. I want you to tell the court what you were doing around that time. All right. All right, the first witness testimony of the game. Let's go. The accused account. I didn't kill Mr. Roll, and I didn't steal the treasure. I'm not allowed to go anywhere near the treasure room. I've never even seen a treasure box with the green Curianese butterfly on it. When the incident happened, I was in the hallway planning my tour route. Very interesting. Were you well acquainted with the victim? Yes, he used to chat with me whenever we ran into each other in the temple. Mr. Rawl was a monk in training when he was a kid, too, you know. I bet Ahlbi looked up to him. But he had to give that up and go work when his family needed the money. That's why he became a guard, but at least that way he could still stay at the temple. He was so proud when he was put in charge of guarding the treasure box. He even got to carry the box to the palace for the New Year's rite. The victim's parents apparently both died relatively young, so Mr. Roller had to support his younger brother and sisters as well. But even with his job as a security guard, I'm sure things couldn't have been easy for him. It sounds like the circumstances in Ahlbi's are very similar. Mr. Roll encouraged me to never give up. Ahlbi, you train hard and make sure you become a monk one day. Don't end up like me, he said. He was always cheering me on in my training and the tour guide business, too. Why in the world would I kill a nice man like that? Yes, I see. You express yourself well. Defense, now that you've heard the accused's account, are you finally satisfied? If so, let's draw this to an expedient conclusion. But, Your Majesty, I haven't even cross-examined the defendant yet. That wasn't the end of it? It's been so long, I don't rightly recall what this cross-examining thing is all about. A judge who doesn't know what a cross-examination is? What fresh hell is this? I really do wish I could remember how it works. Should I give the judge a refresher on the cross-examination? Okay, well, this part of the game was already done in my video of the demo. I didn't do this because, you know, I already know how this game works, but I guess if anyone watching this episode and don't know how the game actually plays well, we might as well give the judge a refresher and one for the viewers as well. Now, excuse me, I drink some water, because I've been talking for about an hour straight. Okay, I needed that. This is a bit of a different type of Let's Play, I guess, but hey, might as well keep telling what a cross-examination is. I guess I'd better, or we'll never get anywhere. Your Majesty, please allow me to explain this procedure. First, we lawyers listen carefully to the witness's testimony. Then we touch to present to open the court record and examine the evidence. And why would you do that? To find and present any evidence that is inconsistent with the statements given. Present? I certainly don't need any gifts from you. Clearly, something is getting lost in the translation with His Majesty. The point is, it's possible that a statement could contain a lie or a mistake. But what do you do if you can't find any inconsistencies in a witness' testimony? In that case, we may press the witness for more information. Pressing a statement might reveal new information or even entirely new statements. Presenting evidence is one thing, but pressing witnesses? I'll have you know, defense, that I do not allow violence in my courtroom. Rest assured, the only gentle verbal pressure is used. No physical force involved. Well, I'm not convinced. After all, who knows what sort of tactics an attorneys will resort to. One false move and I'll call the bailiff. Yeah, something's definitely getting lost in there. For now, I should just focus on all my energy on questioning Ahlbi and comparing his statement with the information in the court record. Alright, here we go with the cross-examination. Now, since this is basically the same one as the demo, I believe the problem should be in the same spot. I'm not allowed to go anywhere, and I can't fast forward because my first time playing. That's the one downside about Ace Attorney games. When the first time you're playing through it, you can't skip over text. I've never seen the treasure box with the green butterfly on it. Well, no need to press that statement. We can go ahead and present the newspaper.
Objection!
Oh, Ahlbi, why would you lie to me? So, you say you never laid eyes in the treasure box? Is that right? That's right. It's forbidden, so I'd never do that. In that case, how did you know there was a green butterfly on it? Huh? Because I saw the picture of it in that newspaper article? Nope. Take another look. These photos are in black and white. You couldn't possibly tell what color the butterfly is from these pictures. Hold on. His bag. Did it just move? Polcocoon. I can never pronounce that word either in the demo. I beg your pardon? I'll never get that word right. Polunkunka is a word in Kyrianese that people use when they're surprised. You're just exposed to lies, so this is the power of a cross-examination, is it? I should be the one shocked here by your shocking lack of understanding, Your Honor. But, just a moment. If the accused was lying, that just makes him even more suspicious than ever. And this just makes things worse for me than ever. Ahlbi, are you hiding something? Please give only true statements. I can't help you if you don't tell the truth. Darn, I just can't seem to get to him to open up to me. So accused, you have seen the treasure box with your own eyes after all, haven't you? Well, maybe I did take a peek one time a long time ago when I was cleaning the treasure room. But you weren't in the treasure room at the time of the incident, right? Of course I wasn't.
Objection!
That is a lie. You were most definitely inside the treasure room on the day of the incident. And I have proof. He does. This was found on the floor in the treasure room. It was a scroll entitled Notice and contained a list of temple monk duties. These instructions pertain to the day of the incident. And what exactly is that supposed to prove? The accused's fingerprints were found on the scroll. What? Oh no! Where is it? It's not here! It's not here! I must have dropped it somewhere! Indeed, you must have dropped it when you were busy murdering the victim! Notice Added 2 is a court record. Well now. No. Then that means Ahlbi was there on the day of the incident. So this is the power of a cross-examination. The more the accused talks, the guiltier he paints himself. Yes, it would seem so, Your Majesty. He predicted my argument and had evidence ready to refute it. You're supposed to help the accused. See, I told you can't trust lawyers with their lies. The benevolence already said the king's guilty. Just declare him guilty and get it over with. No, everything's going all wrong. Shout out, what do I do? As I suspected, the cross-examination session has served no purpose whatsoever. No, you're wrong. But armed as we are over Benevolence's insight, there's no reason to doubt his guilt. Then I guess I'll just have to poke holes in the inside of hers. By the way, this didn't prove to be very interesting at all, Mr. Ping. Nevertheless, I will now finally announce my verdict. Wait just one moment, Your Majesty. I haven't seen this deviation science for myself yet. As a defense, I have the right to check it. Is that really necessary? I have to get home and apologize to my wife. I guess she really did give him the business. Your Majesty, I enthusiastically support having Mr. Wright seize a science. You do? And why is that, Mr. Payne? Don't you want to see it? See this lawyer being utterly crushed by the power of the science? And then watch him tearfully beg for mercy? Well now, that's probably better when how he really said it. I'm sure it'll make up for getting to that class of your wife. It certainly does sound worth seeing, and it'd give me a bit of juicy tidbit to tell the missus. He's gonna have the best dinner time story ever, apparently. I've been reduced to a juicy tidbit? Well, foreigner interlope, I imagine you to have see it for yourself to be convinced. It's certainly unprecedented, but let's have the deviation science performed again. But then, right after the tearful begging, I really do have to be going. The only tearful begging is going to come from that prosecution when we're through. How pitiful the defense looks, still scrambling desperately for a foothold. Blissfully unaware that the defeat is in despair all that await him. There she is, her benevolence. Your benevolence, Raifa Padama Kurain. Thank you for coming all the way once again. Your gratitude is unnecessary. This is simply my duty. Barb-headed attorney. Yes? I am told you question the veracity of the sacred deviation science. It would seem that depths of your irreverence and blasphemy are lost on you. I'm just a foreigner, ignorant of the ways and the customs of this country. I apologize in advance for anything rude I might say or do, Your Benevolence. All I want is a fair trial for Ahlbi. You would imply that the trials of this country are unfair? Do explain, outsider. How verdicts founded on truths imparted by the very souls of the dead lack impartiality? What's fair about trials with no defense and no chance for the accused to tell their story? How dare you speak to benevolence in that manner? Did you hear that? Did you hear when we talked to her benevolence? What does he know about anything? If you're an outsider. We won't stand for it. He must be punished. Yikes. Look, I really stuck my foot in it this time. Silence one and all. Is she standing up for me? Be not disquieted, wow, words I cannot pronounce, my people. He merely expresses his opinion. Well, well, looks like her benevolence is going to be more reasonable than I thought. Attorneys are ghastly creatures, with souls stained black by the brazen of truths. The words of a lowly worm's gazette are not worth troubling yourselves over. Alright, I take that back. None of his prattling can sway the truth of my insights. Rest assured, he will soon see the error of his foolish ways. Now then, your benevolence. The divination science, if you would. Certainly. Naina, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.